All right, so I just want to give you a quick walk through the course website, and this is really where you'll be able to find all the information about the course throughout the semester. Most of everything on this site is directly linked from Moodle as well. So if you're used to just logging into Moodle, that's fine too. But really, everything that would appear on Moodle really is just web links back to this course web page. So all your information is here. So the web address up here, it's at my homepage, pages.rampo.edu /sfreeze, and then the courses CMPS 130. So as I'm sure you already know, it's an online course. In terms of office hours, I am available on campus. So if you do want to come and meet with me face to face at any point, I'm not on campus every day, and I don't have a specific set schedule, but I'm on pretty frequently. So if you shoot me an email, and again, best way to contact me is email sfreeze@rampo.edu. Shoot me an email, and we probably will be able to schedule something. If not the next day, maybe 2 days in 2 days time at probably at the worst. We can also use Skype. We can also just go over email. So you'll certainly be able to get in touch with me. But don't just show up at my office because during the summer I'm not holding regular hours. So I'm not going to go through a lot about what the course is all about just yet. In this video, you should access the welcome video. That'll give you a little bit more of an introduction of what the course is all about. But in terms of policies and delivery, that's what I want to focus on in this. So first off, just about taking the online course, I can't stress how important it is that you keep up with the work. Read through this section. Um, Sometimes online courses can be a real great thing for people if they've got a work schedule, if they got a schedule for whatever reason that prevents them from taking a course at a scheduled given time. However, it can also be a little dangerous because if you allow yourself to fall behind, the total hours of these videos is not that daunting. You might look at it and say, hey, well, I can watch them all back to back and be fine. That's just not true. There's an enormous amount of detail into programming. There's a lot of exercises for you to complete. It is a challenging course to complete in full 4 weeks. So again, if you ever need any help, email me quickly. I will get back to you quickly. And we will figure out the best next steps. If you're going to email me with questions about code, please make sure that you send the code in your email. So I might get a chance to just look at it real quick and I can get you an answer real fast. If you kind of send me sort of a vague question about programming, it takes me a lot longer to diagnose what your problem really is, and we might have to go back and forth a few times. So please always email your source code if there's something wrong. In terms of objectives, I'll let you read this online. The bottom line is that you should be learning skills that are going to, first of all, allow you to be a novice programmer, right? So you're going to be able to have some fundamental skills in programming. But I've sort of slanted it towards things that might help you along your way if you're involved in the sciences. And Python's a language that's actually lends itself pretty well to that. Okay, material. The textbook is a total requirement. You must buy the textbook. It's relatively inexpensive. If you click on this link, it'll take you to Amazon. You can buy it. Again, it's not a $120 textbook. I believe it's only it's $20 or $30. We are following the textbook extremely closely. This textbook has been used in other online courses. It's been developed specifically for the types of use cases or the types of audience that this course is designed for. So I've really followed it fairly closely. Each one of our modules, and I'll talk about that in a second, are going to be tied specifically to these textbooks, and I'll make reference to the textbook frequently. So you must have that. Now you're going to be running programs. You're going to be creating your own programs and running them. Again, since I assume that most of you who are taking this course are not on the college campus, it's imperative that you have the ability to run and create programs on your own machine. So you'll need a computer. You'll need internet access. Python runs on any operating system. So whether you have Windows, an Apple computer, or you're using Linux, it doesn't make a difference. You can certainly install Python. And in the first module, or first two modules, I'll talk a little bit more about how to get Python installed on your program, on your computer, and how to run your programs. That's really important. If you don't get through that in the first day or so and you're having problems, that's sort of an emergency, because we cover a lot of material in the first week to get you started with programming. And if you can't run programs and you're just sort of reading the book instead, you're going to fall, probably, I would bet, if you haven't programmed before, you're going to fall so far behind that you won't be able to catch up. All right, so you want to make sure it's not that difficult to install Python and get it up and running, but you want to be diligent about that and make sure you do it right away. You're going to need a source code editor. So Python code, just like if you write an essay, you need, a word processor, you need Microsoft Word or something like that. When you're writing your own programs, you need a good source code editor. There's lots and lots and lots of editors out there that you can download for free and use. In all the videos, I'm using Sublime Text, which is a free editor. It's actually you can use the trial license as, or you can use the free license as a student here, but it is for purchase. It does not expire though, so the trial will last through 4 weeks. GitHub created an editor that's a lot like Sublime Text called Atom. You can click on that link and you can download that. Atom will be installed on all the lab computers on where we'll be doing our tests. So if you want to use that's a good choice. Each one of those editors are available in all the operating systems, so that's no problem. You will have to have administrator access to install them. So again, you're going to need to have access to a computer pretty consistently. Okay, so the course itself is divided into 23 different modules. These modules are specifically focused and tied to small sections in the textbook. So you can imagine that you'll probably spend anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours. Some of the modules have exercises in it and it might take you longer, but a half hour to 2 hours on each module. And what I would say is for each module, you want to first read the actual textbook listings that are associated with them. So I click on module 3. I'm on a local file system, so you saw that. So module 3, branching programs. This is kind of the typical setup when you click on one of these modules. First off, I'm going to highlight exactly, or I'm going to point out which pages you should read in the textbook. I think it would be a very smart idea to read the textbook first, right, before you continue with going through any of this. In each module page, I'll have slides. Right, so my lecture slides that I would use in a regular traditional course are posted, and you can kind of go through them. You can do full screen and you can work with them that way. The actual lecture itself, which is a combination of me, talking about my slides, talking about writing some code, running some code, are for each module, you'll have 1 or 2 videos associated with them that are corresponding to the lectures. So the lecture slides themselves, you can use as a nice reference to go back to. You can toggle back and forth and find different different slides that you wanted to review. But the lecture video really is just sort of sit back and watch, and I'll go through all the slides. On many of the modules, and this one in particular has 4 of them, on many of the modules I list programming exercises. So these are very, very critical to the course. For every module that there's a programming exercise, you want to go through that exercise yourself first. So if we click on the first one, that'll bring us to a dedicated page, and this one's a fairly small one. It's not very involved. But I'm just telling you to, write a program that asks the user for 3 integers and print out the largest odd number. Based on the lecture, the module that this programming example is attached to, you at this point know enough to do these exercises. You want to try these on your own. You'll see this warning on every single one. You learn by doing, not by watching. Try to complete the exercise yourself. Down here, I do have a video. So every programming example will also have an associated video where you'll see me kind of walk through designing a solution. You might not end up with the same exact code as I do, and that's fine as long as yours works and it's going about it the right approach. This shouldn't be viewed as something that you need to watch before you try to program or anything like that. All of these programming exercises, they are not turned in. They are not for credit. This is your opportunity to practice. And again, just practicing does not mean just simply looking at the solution. So if I look at the solution, I can download the actual text file, and look at that. Okay, so moving back here, each one of these modules are associated with a week in the course. So I've outlined the 4-week course for the summer session 2, ending in early August. You can see the last couple of weeks we cover less modules. These are much more in-depth modules. The lectures are not necessarily much longer, but the exercises associated with are bigger. The material in the textbook is more complex. You'll see we have a lot more modules in the first 2 weeks. These are much more targeted. They tend to be a little bit shorter. For those of you that have taken computer science courses already and already know how to program in another language, certainly the first week is going to be a very, very entry-level type discussion. But you'll find that by the second week, we're going to start to get into things that are very unique to Python and might be new to you. So during each week, you're going to get an email from me reminding you about which modules you should be looking at, and I'll talk a little bit about the homework assignments themselves. You want to be diligent in reading the textbook, watching the lecture videos, completing the programming exercises by yourself, and then reviewing my solutions just so you can get some ideas as to how maybe you could have solved this more easily, maybe you could have solved it a little bit differently. Stay on track. Make sure that you cover all of the modules assigned for a particular week. Try to go in order. There's really no reason to skip ahead. That probably wouldn't make any sense, actually. Programming is not the type of thing that, something like Module 9 doesn't require Module 3. They all are sort of prerequisites of each other. So go through this in sequence and according to schedule. So I've talked a little bit more about the recommended pace on the syllabus. Again, read through this text, make sure it makes sense to you. There are 4 homework assignments. I'm going to talk about the CS one in a second, but there's 4 primary homework assignments that everybody in the course is required to complete. These programming assignments are meant to be done by yourself, and you're going to submit the source code through Moodle. And if you have any issues about submitting source code through Moodle, just let me know, email if you're not quite sure how to do that. I can walk you through that and explain. So the programs are probably going to take you a few hours to do, especially as we get down to homework 3 and 4. That's probably a light estimate. You can imagine that that's going to take these homework 3 and 4 might very well take you much more than 3 to 6 hours. So you need to budget your time wisely. And when I say lab assignments, by the way, I kind of meant programming examples. So I'm going to provide you some feedback on your homework. The grading will be discerning. So it's not going to be sort of yes you did it or no you didn't. You will get partial credit for the parts that you complete, and I'll explain of course what you're doing wrong. And I'll try to get these back to you probably within about 48 to 72 hours. So if you look at these first 3, they're due on a Saturday night. You can expect to get that back by probably Tuesday morning at the latest. I'll probably grade these homework assignments on Monday. Homework 4 is due on a Thursday night. And by the way, when I say this, it's at 11:59 or in 59 seconds on 7/11. So at midnight of the next day, really. The last homework assignment, homework 4, is due on a Thursday, and it's only because the last day of the semester is on a Thursday. So if you click on each one of these homework assignments, This is again, this is a little bit more in-depth problem, but you can see that I've given you a lot of backgrounds and kind of the rubric on how I'm going to grade everything. And again, this homework assignment will take you a while to get to, but you'll just go through the problem assignment and submit the source code. Okay, so this last homework assignment, many of you, or I shouldn't say many of you, but about a handful of you are taking this course and you are computer science majors and you want it to count as a computer science elective. So all computer science majors are required to complete 7 CS upper level electives. They're typically 300 level courses. This course was not designed as a 300 level course, but it's a very useful course. I think it's good for the computer science major to see Python and to learn how to work with it. But in order for it to actually count as one of these electives, I'm asking you to do a little bit more work and sort of forcing you to kind of get through the material a little faster, because I've designed a homework assignment that's going to take you a bit more time than the others. So if you're planning on taking the option where you are a computer science major and you want this to count towards your major, if you're a computer science major and you just want credits, you need credits to graduate or something like that, you don't have to do this assignment if you don't want. But if you want it to count towards your CS, major, towards your major GPA, you must complete this last assignment as well by the end of the semester. And again, you can click on that and work yourself through that. That's an assignment that's looking at sequence alignments in bioinformatics. Non-CS majors, again, don't worry about this 5th assignment. That's not for you. You certainly can try it. It's certainly something that you probably benefit by trying to do it. It's certainly a big test of whether or not you're really grasping the material. But it's, again, because of the condensed time period, it's probably a lot to take on if you haven't programmed before. There's no bonus points. It's not extra credit. So, it's totally up to you if you want to look at it. But I don't want anybody to feel any reason that they have to complete that extra assignment. Homework assignments are worth 20% of your total semester grade. They're worth total of 5%. Exams are worth the rest, or largely the rest. Okay, so the midterm and the final exam will be proctored, meaning you must come on to campus for the midterm and the final. You're going to be doing programming yourself. You're going to be doing live programming over the course of a 3-hour span. Maybe it won't take the full 3 hours, but it's something where you're really going to be tested whether or not you can program yourself. So again, if you find that you cannot do the programming examples associated with all these modules yourself, and you're getting help from others, whether it's me or someone else, realize that when you get on campus and you do these programs yourself, and you have to do these programs yourself, if that's the first time you're programming without somebody's help, you're not going to do well. So you need to use these programming exercises to really practice problem solving on your own. The exams, though, are open book, they are open notes, they are open computer. You can use any resource you want on the midterm and the final exam other than another person. So you can't chat with somebody else, use a social media site or anything like that. If for some reason you cannot get to campus, so if you live 2 hours away and you're not coming to campus, I understand that this is an online course. Contact me. If you talk to me before July 10th, we will work out an alternative solution or alternative date, maybe, if you can't get to campus those particular days. But it has to be a legitimate issue. It can't just be, a matter of inconvenience for you. I think it's important that everybody is held to the same procedure. So please get in touch with me by July 10th if any of these dates, the midterm on Wednesday the 22nd or the final on the 8th. If you're not going to be able to make it either at the 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. slot or the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. slot, and you have a real significant reason for not being able to do that, we'll work it out. Like I said, homework assignments are worth 20%. The midterm exam is worth 35%, and then the final is 45% of your grade. So you can see again, 70% of your grade is going to be based on programming that you're doing in seat live without anybody's help. Just keep that in mind while you're programming. I'm not talking about, I'm not emphasizing that because I think you're going to be, cheating on a homework assignment. I'm emphasizing that because a lot of people will fall into a trap of having, a friend or even me give a lot of help to them while they're doing the programming. Programming can be very frustrating when you learn, when the first time you're learning it. Don't fall in the trap of relying and leaning on other people to help you through the problems, because 70% of your grade is going to be assigned based on when that person's not there with you. So, just take that as a warning, because that's what gets a lot of people. Letter grades is pretty standard. Letter grade assignments, I'll let you read through that. Academic integrity, of course, everything about this course is the same as any other course at Ramapo College and at most other colleges. You're expected to obviously do your own work. And so for homework assignments, you're expected to be working alone. It is fairly easy to see when somebody has copied source code from someone else, even if they've renamed things and moved it around. Please don't do that. You're not going to like what happens afterwards. For homework assignments, you'll get a 0 the first time, and then if I see it again, you'll fail. If you're caught on the midterm or the final emailing, communicating with anybody else, I forgot to say this, but on the midterm and the final, you'll be required to use the lab machines on campus, not your regular laptops. You don't even bother bringing them in. The computers on campus will have Python installed on them and everything, and you'll be able to work with that. Those machines are monitored. If you open up Facebook and you start talking to somebody, you're going to get a 0 for that, and that's probably going to be the end of the semester for you, in terms of just because the midterm and final count for a lot. So that kind of goes without saying, I think. Okay, so I think that covers pretty much the whole syllabus here. If at any point you have any questions about how to find any information on the syllabus, how to find any information about the modules, if any links aren't working, there's a lot of web pages here. I'm sure I messed up some of the links or something. Please let me know right away, so I can help everybody else in the course find things. And I hope you get a lot out of the course.